Hello and welcome to Cali Legends Media. When I went live the other day, there was a lot of discussions, and a couple of people had some questions about some of the spiritual, scary witchcraft type experience that I've had in my life, right? So, being that it's Halloween and goblins and ghouls and everything uncool, I'm gonna go ahead and tell a little story of my experiences growing up dealing with spirits, spiritual beings, spirits from other dimensions, or however you want to put it. Okay. So most of these stories, in fact, all of the stories that have to do with my young life, took place at a house that I grew up in. I'm thinking of putting it in the thumbnail. It's a house on McBride. It's full of trees and flowers and plants. The people that moved in chose to decorate it that way. It wasn't like that when I lived there. But anyways, that's the house I grew up in. A lot of things have happened in that house since we moved out. Terrible, horrible things. And I'll get to the worst thing that I know of personally towards the end of this video, where someone lost their head, literally. Anyways, so the first thing that I remember that I didn't understand because I was very young was sleeping with my mom and dad. Okay, I was the first one awake, first one up and out of bed, and the room was connected directly to the kitchen. And then from the kitchen, you could go into a back room, a pantry, or the dining room. Okay, so when I got up, climbed over my dad, because my dad was sleeping on the edge and the bed was up against the wall where my mom was laying. I had to climb over my dad to get to the floor. And I was a little dude, man. I must have been maybe like 5, 6 years old. And I heard some like squeaking, like giggling, but real squeaky type giggling, and some little pitter patter, on the linoleum in the kitchen, right? So I don't know why, but it made me like giggle, like like laugh. I'm thinking like, who's playing in there, And I went out all excited, I wanted to get some too, whatever was happening, I wanted to have fun too, right? Okay, check it out. You know the movie Gremlins, right? That movie didn't come out until I was a grown man, okay? I never seen anything like those little monitos that they were portraying in the movie, right? Those little gremlins. But basically, when I walked out of the bedroom into the kitchen, right in the middle of the kitchen between the sink and the stove and refrigerator were these two very small gremlin type looking little creatures, right? And they were dancing like this, making their little noises, right? And going around and in the middle right there of the kitchen, and I'm standing there and I'm looking and I'm tripping. I'm like, what are these things? Like I didn't know what to think, right? And one of them spotted me, and I guess the other one saw him looking at me, he turned, and they both took off. I made a description on one of my other videos on how, like, if you enter a room and if there's a mouse or a rat, how they scurry away. They're so fast, it's like a blur. They just, boom, they're gone, right? That's what these two little creatures did. They just took off in different directions, right? And I didn't think anything of it. I was a little kid. I didn't know a lot about the world, and I'm learning everything. So I didn't really trip on. They didn't scare me. I wasn't scared. I just seen them, And then years later, they come out with this movie, The Gremlins, and I remembered that incident. And these would be those gremlins, but with no hair at all. Okay, they didn't have no fur. They were just like skin, nothing but skin, but the skin was kind of like scaly, right? And they weren't green or black. They were like in between that color. Okay, what they were, I have no idea to this day. Okay. Anyways, in that same house, growing up, there was a lot of other occasions that scared the crap out of me. One of them was, again, I was lying in bed with my mom and dad. I got up and I sat up, and on top of the dresser were these two, like, they look like lights, like candles, not candles, like, let's say white plastic statues with lights in them, because they were like lit, you know, they had light. And they were speaking to each other, and one was a male and one was a female. And I could hear the conversation even though they were whispering. And the female was telling the male, but he's only a child. And the male didn't say anything to her, but turned towards me. And then after that, I heard the female again tell him, please, he's only a child. And I looked towards the kitchen, right? Because that's the if we exit that bedroom, we'll go right into the kitchen. There was this man with a little French style cap, you know, with the brim, like made of like maybe mohair or some type of suede material. It was brown. And dude he was skinny, had a real skinny face, and he was like looking into the room, only could see part of his face. He was like looking into the room, and he was looking at me, right? And I got scared, so scared I couldn't move, and I looked at the two statues or whatever they were, you know, and I looked back and it was gone. The man was gone. Then I looked back to the dresser and the lights were gone, you know, whatever they were up there, right? But this time I felt fear, you know. It scared me, you know. For whatever reason, it frightened me. Maybe because I didn't understand what was going on, and I was older now. You know, I was still a little kid, but I was older now. Obviously, I was young enough to still be sleeping with my mom and dad, not only due to the fact that there was a lot of other people in the house, but I was very small. Anyways, the third incident I want to tell you about involved my brother-in-law, Joker from Mariana, the one that played the guitar, one of the guitar players in the video I made with my homies playing the guitars, right? He walked in one night. He came to the house, okay? Him and my sister were staying in the very, very back room, okay? He knocks on the door. Everybody's asleep. Knocks on the door. He whistles. He's trying to get in, right? He tries the door. It's locked. And he's standing there like, man, I'm going to have to, like, I guess go bang on somebody's window or something. And the door went open, right? It just opened up so much. And he says, so he walks in and he's saying thank you to whoever opened the door for him, right? Hey, you know, thank you for opening up the door. And he's closing the door, and then something yanked his guitar, you know? And he was like, hey, you know, like, hey, man, you know, he looks and there's nobody there, right? And he said he got like this bad feeling, and he walked in and he closed the door and he looked around and he's like, hey, open the door. And there was nobody there. And he went and he woke my sister up and told her what happened. My sister got up and went and asked my mom and my dad, hey, did you guys open the door for Larry? And they're like, no, why? What happened? And she told him, well, because he was locked out of the house. He was outside on the front porch, and somebody opened the door for him. And when he walked in, he was saying thank you. And then someone yanked on his guitar, like to yank it out of his hand. And when he looked, there was nobody there, and he's trying to see who opened the door for him. And my mom and dad told him, we're the only ones here right now. Your brother and your uncle, they're not here. They went out together. They went to the Tiki's. And in Montebello, I think. I think that's where the Tiki's was. I can't remember. Or in San Gabriel. Anyways, so everybody got up now, and everybody's like going around the house, checking the house, and like, what the hell's going on here, right? And it shook my brother-in-law up, and my brother-in-law had been through a lot in his life, for something to give him any type of fear or anything, it must have been a little bit crazy. So, we finally sold this house and we moved out, okay? Another family moved in, and I can't tell you the things they went through because then I can't put the video on, okay? But at the beginning of this video, I told you something happened, right? The way that happened was with a skill saw, okay? And the way they put that information out was that guy did that to himself with that tool. So you figure out how someone could do that to themselves with a skill saw, okay? Because in my mind, it's pretty impossible, right? But supposedly he did it to himself for what he had done to the other members of the household, and they say that he was going through a lot in that house, and nobody would believe him. But anyways, yeah, that's how the story ended for that family and for that man. He had a run-in with a skill saw by his own hand. So, anyways, that's my stories for today. I could have probably told some other ones, but I think those ones give you an idea that something was going on in that house, Whether it's happening now still or not, I'm going to find out because I talked to the people that live there in that house now. And let's see what they tell me. I drive by there often. One of these days I'm going to pull over and just ask them, just for shits and giggles, to see if they're having any type of experience. Anyways, that's my story for today. My story about paranormal things that go on. My mom, she practiced witchcraft most of my young life, okay? I think I told the story about how she went to this lady, and the lady gave her a deer's eye, and she was to put that deer's eye on my niece's Valerie, Joker's daughter, pamper. And when somebody would walk into the room, if that deer eye cracked, that was the person that was doing ojo to her or whatever. Some of you know what ojo is. Anyways, yeah, she also had other little things she wore on her chain. Little black head with different types of metal: brass, copper, gold, silver, iron, and it was a way to always have money, and finances, or something to that effect. I remember it was a little black head. I would identify it most with something you would see in Africa or an African painting, a black head with a gold collar around her neck because she looked female, with a red stone right in the middle, and the hair was up like in a bun. I don't know if any of you have seen that. If you have, let me know in the comment section. She also used to, I remember one time she had lit a candle with a black figure on the candle, okay? And the candle was black also. Also, one of her lady friends was over there one day, and they had a mouse that was tied with a string and some other hierbas, right? And this lady was to put it under her husband's bed, and it was to make his penis inoperative, right? Because he was going around sleeping with different women, so she wanted to break his shit. You know what I mean? So the bruja that my mom seen gave it to her, and it was a real mouse, you know, tied up a certain way, you know. And yeah, I don't know if any of you's heard of that. That's another time. And my mother-in-law is also known to be dabble in witchcraft. I remember one day we were having these types of experiences in a house that we lived in on Gage, and my mother-in-law came in while I was at work. Okay, when I got home, she had built an altar in our kitchen. Okay, and she had a candle with like this black bat on it, you know, and she had a you know, like a goblet, you know, glass, filled with supposedly holy water, and she had some other things up there, you know. And I came home and I asked my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife, but I asked her, hey, what is this? You know, oh, my mom came and she said it's to get rid of the bad spirits and all of that we've been experiencing, and she says that somebody's doing brujeria to us, and so I blow it, right? I grab everything and I throw it out the back door. I open the door to the kitchen, opens up to the back. I threw everything out the back door, and I was pissed, man. Next time she comes over, she's like, hey, where's this and that? I open the door, I go, it's right there. If you want anything, it's thrown right there. Go ahead. Oh, why did you do that? And she panicked, right? I go, look, this is my house. You want to go build some shrine or altars or whatever you call them in your house, you go ahead and do that. But don't come to my house and do your thing like that, okay? That's not that kind of house. Oh, she blew it. I don't think she talked. We don't have a good relationship anyway, so I don't care. But she probably didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks after I did that to her little shrine, you know. And then a lady that lived across the street from us, one day I was backing up and I ran over the plants that she planted in the driveway by accident. Oh, she got pissed. She told me that for me to watch what happens to my car. I had a real nice car. I had a Sebring convertible with badass rims. I put rims on it. It was nice. And watch what happens to your car and this and that. And she used to do a lot of things in her backyard. We would see her burning stuff and doing her thing. Well, one day there was 3 crosses upside down on our door. We had a white door, and we came home and there was 3 crosses upside down. Also, on my Sebring, one day when I parked it in the street, there was eggs. There was 5 empty eggs, but the eggshells were intact, and they were up on the top, like where the windshield wipers are. And I just got them and took them off, and I threw them. It's fucking bullshit, you know. And I'm pissed, right? I'm pissed because I'm thinking it's that lady across the street that threatened me, because I know she does a lot of things with that, you know, with witchcraft. Anyways, one day my wife picks me up. We're going to go to Las Vegas and get married that weekend, right? She picks me up from work early. We're leaving. We're driving. The car's packed and everything. We're driving to Vegas. We just barely are leaving. Okay, we've been on the freeway for like 5 minutes, and this car just changes lane like we're not even there, right into us, and knocks us into the embankment, you know? So they come and they tow my car, and they take it to my house in the carport, right? The end of the story, I lose that car, you know. Whether it had to do with her her casting something or not, I don't know. One day these guys came over to beat the shit out of her old man and her son, right? And there was like 4 of them, and they had a machingas right there in the driveway and out in the street, right? And I was watching the way those people were acting. I just got mad because they were acting like they were like running things right there, and they weren't running shit, you know? And I didn't want them coming back to the property, pushing their weight around. I took off my t-shirt and I went out there, right? And I got in the middle of these 2 dudes and the guys, 4 guys I think it was, that were trying to get at them, right? And I put my hands up and I told them, hey, what's up, fool? what's going on? And they're like, no, que estos vatos, this, and they start explaining. I go, hey, I went like that. There's nothing happening here. Get the fuck out of here. And what do you mean? I told them, yeah, exactly what I said. Get the fuck out of here. There's nothing happening here. Oh, orale, we don't want no problems. Hey, no, it's that these guys, I don't care. There's nothing happening here. Get the fuck out of here. Catch them in the street. Do what you want. Don't come to my house getting sued. I got kids here and stuff. Oh, hey, sorry. This, and they leave, right? Anyways, 2 days later, this lady who threatened me about my car, which is now lost, and I believe was doing all these things, she comes to my house. She knocks on the door. She gets down on one knee, reaches up and gets my hand, and she kisses it. And she says, I want to apologize for everything that I've been doing and what I've done. You're a good man. Thank you for helping me and helping my family and protecting my family. That's it. I told her, I was pissed at her. I didn't care about her. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I put my hand, no, it's all right. Don't worry. Okay, thank you. And I just closed the door. I never had nothing to do with the lady. I never did before, and I still didn't want to even then. I just happened to run over her goddamn plants by accident. And then she tried to like snap at me, and it pissed me off because the plants, I didn't even know she did that. I didn't know she put them there, and they didn't belong there, Anyways, what happened. So, that's just a few little experiences with witchcraft, and people that practiced it. As you can see, a lot of the older Mexican ladies around me, my mom, my suegra, the lady that lived across the street from me, were very vocal in what they were doing and stuff. When my wife would be sick, my mother-in-law would come over and rub her with an egg and spit alcohol on her and blow smoke from a cigar, and she'd do all kinds of shit, stuff that's not biblical, and I'd have to get her physically and take her out of the house and tell her, nah, we don't practice that here in this house, and yeah, she'd actually hit me in the face one time with her cell phone when I was removing her from the house, and called the cops on me, The cops told her, hey, get out of here. Get out of here before we take you to jail, It was ridiculous, man, the shit that I have to go through with this religion or whatever they want to call it, this practice. But I ain't having it. I'm not scared of spiritual beings and all of that. I don't need no limpia. I don't need none of that. And I've been dealing with these creatures, or these spirits, all of my life, and I'm going to continue to battle and do what I do the way I do with the help that I get from God. And if I can't count on God and Christ and what he did on the cross, I don't stand a ice cube chance in hell. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you stayed to the end, because that's always the best part of my videos. Anyways, thank you for watching. God bless you and your family always. Stay strong, keep your head up, and let's stay free. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.